This is just a bit of food for thought I've used sometimes for parties to think about before any discussions, negotiations, arguments with their ex about their kids' best interests. It goes a bit like this. Okay, so I'm going to give you two statements about you and your ex. I want you to think about them both very carefully. The first statement is, each of you has different ideas about what's in the best interests of your kids. And the second statement is, each of you thinks that you're right. Now be truthful. Do you think those two statements are pretty accurate? If you do, then what you've done there is to adopt a position. Between you and your ex, you've built for yourselves in your minds a clear glass cube. And any argument you have about your kids' best interests will be based around those positions, confined within this glass cube you've both constructed. And by virtue of that confinement, any possible outcome from that argument won't be able to escape the glass cube, because you've both chosen freely to define the boundaries of your argument. The thing about being in a glass cube, though, is that over time the oxygen starts to run out. So without breathing space, you'll find that the argument gets stale and begins to repeat itself, bouncing endlessly as it does off the walls of the cube. As a result, you end up getting nowhere, and all the dreams each of you might have had for your kids, all those best interests you've been kicking about tiresomely inside the cube, begin to choke and die. I don't know your kids. I'm willing to bet, though, that they'll see right through the walls of your glass cube. Remember that they'll see themselves as half of you and half of your ex. So when they peer in and see their parents argue, when they see you not being civil to each other at handover, when they don't hear you talk positively about their other parent, as they get older, they might come to think that actually you've enjoyed your time in the glass cube, that you've been faced with a free choice as responsible parents and have decided to argue about your kids' best interests rather than thinking instead, well, maybe it's in the best interest for us just to try and get along for their sake. So before you immerse yourself in the minutiae, the nitty-gritty of that next argument with your ex, before you yelp and scowl about your parental rights or when the kids should be with you, or why your ex is wrong about this or about that, or why if you don't get what you want you'll go to court, or why your hands are tied because your ex ain't budging from that ignorant position, however justified you might feel in pursuing that line, just pause for a minute there, take a deep breath, think about the big picture and answer as truthfully as you can this one little question. Given the choice, do you really genuinely want to hold on to your kids' best interests forever within this glass cube you've built, starved of oxygen, or do you want to smash it to pieces and let them breathe again? I know there's important things to work out, and I'm not advocating that you just throw up the white flag for the sake of peace. I also appreciate that despite your wishes, your ex might leave you little choice, particularly where there's been domestic abuse and so on. But what I'm saying here is that if you'd like to get out of that glass cube, if you'd like to deal with any issues about your kids in a responsible, constructive manner, if you want to build a working parental relationship for the future that closes off the one you had previously with your ex, if you want to move on and enjoy the rest of your lives rather than leaving your kids suffocated and defined by the separation, then the choice to do that is sitting firmly in the hands of both of you. And that's where mediation can come in.